You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off.
Well, hello and welcome to round number 11 of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter from Sebring International Raceway here in Florida for Raceverse. I'm Matt Houston, so welcome to the show tonight. Hey, Robert Sadler's out there in the chat. We had Baby Yoda earlier in the chat as well. Apparently deleted their messages though, unfortunately for us. Christopher Hill, regular at the top of the board here in qualifying. We've got about a little bit over 14 minutes left in qualifying. Steve Ficacci in P2, Darren Treakle in P3, Hendrik Deswart in P4, Peter Lanik in P5. Looking through here for any newcomers. Ficacci joined us last week. And he was really quick, had some issues at the start of the race, and we'll be keeping an eye on him because he's got a 4,000 I rating, so he's going to be pretty good in this series. Once he gets driving these cars, we'll see how he does against Hill and the rest of the regulars here in the series. So only two more, including this race, races to go in this winter series that we're running, and then we're going to be switching cars in the springtime over to the BMW M4 GTE, or sorry, GT3 in fact. These are the GTEs. Just keeping track of qualifying here. Darren Treakle been really fast. He's only about a 10th off of the pole. See what these guys can do as the fuel starts to come down. So speaking of Darren here, we've got to pay some bills, as we always say. Darren Treakle here is one of the sponsors of the series that helps this broadcast be possible, and he's part of Treakle Insurance, and Hagerty Insurance is partnered with them. Treakle Insurance is an independent insurance agency offering auto, home. Let me pull up some information there. Auto, home, business, and life insurance, and they've teamed up with Hagerty Insurance, as I was mentioning, for collector car coverage as well as race day and track day coverage. And then our other big sponsor here in the series is the Beltway Brewing Company. Thirsty for an award-winning local craft beer, Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents their DMV over there. Try their lineup of originally handcrafted IPAs, lager, sour, stouts, and even seltzer, and you can order directly from their Beltway's website, beltwaybrewco.com, for contact-free delivery right to your door, or head on over to their Sterling tap room and pick it up yourself. So we'll give several more shout-outs as the night continues, but we should talk a little bit about the track here of Sebring International Raceway. I was looking, I actually haven't driven here for a really long time, but I used to drive here a lot. Never knew the names of the corners, though, until I looked at the track map here, preparing for the race. So let's see, where is Darren here? Probably take a lap around Darren and go on board with him. when he comes back across the start-finish line, I'll go on with him. I'll have to see if I can find somebody else that's maybe out here. Yeah, actually here, this is our championship leader. He's coming across. This is the start-finish line up ahead. Okay, he's gonna duck off for us, so we'll try somebody else. I think we'll go back to Darren here. So he's gonna be heading through the Le Mans corner, and this is turn 16. Taking a wide arc over the curbs on the right, onto the curbs on the left, down this Ullman straight. This is what used to be an old World War II runway back in the 1940s. Not sure if it's still an active runway or anything like that. Anyway, we're going across the start-finish line. Darren's going to keep us out on the track here. Then we're going to have a fast left-hander when we drive off of the runway kind of section. And Darren's really through the grass here. We'll see what he does. That would have been turn 1 back there. Now we're on to turn 2, that little kink there. This is turn 3, 4, and 5 coming up. That's 3, that's 4, and this is 5. And then this corner up here, car ahead is just going through. It's called the Big Bend corner. That's turn number 6. And I see we have Baby Yoda back in the chat. Hairpin corner, turn 7 here. Really slow corner. Really good passing point there. So this is actually, we got a lot of corners. This is actually turn 10. Back there was 8, 9, and this is through Collier corner. And then we're going to come up through turn 12 and 13. Very generous with the corner numbers here. This is Tower corner. Really fast section up here. That's going to be turn 14, Bishop corner. And through into turn 15 onto this long straightaway. It would be turn number 16, Le Mans corner. And this is where more runway here. So I think Darren here is going to give some gap ahead of him. Try to get a good lap going after this one. So he was actually a 10th off of Ficacci there in P2. This corner number 17 is the Sunset Bend corner, and that was a lap here at Sebring. We're running about a minute 56 laps to a minute 58, and we have 21 drivers currently in session here. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I see we have Sten Cellier fans out there. Let's get a look at Sten here in this Beltway Brewing Company car. Sten's currently in 8th, 10th back on Kim in 7th. Times are going to come down. We have about 7 minutes to go in the session, plus a couple more minutes after that of, we let any drivers that are on their laps finish their laps, and we'll do that for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes after the checker flag waves. And so next week we will be at same time. As this race will be here at Laguna Seca, heading to the west coast of the country. And Laguna Seca, another good sports car track. Has a completely different kind of track though. This track is really bumpy. Sebring is known to be bumpy. They run the 12 hours here, and it goes through the cars quite a bit. IndyCar actually does testing here, but they use a smaller version of the track. It's called the Club Course. I think that the Indy cars probably wouldn't be safe enough to drive around this entire course in some parts. Fikachi has gone to the provisional pole, 2/10 up on Hill. So we've got a challenger for Hill for the pole up there. Let's see, Hill is on track. He spends a lot of time in the pits, I noticed recently during these qualifying sessions. So now he's got some more competition up there at the top of the board. So Fikachi really fast. Hill, going have a look at him. I'm going to switch over to our static cam. I kind of like that look here. See if Hill can work on improving upon his speed here. Looking through the field, we haven't seen Yakov Bielek there on 13th for a little while, so it's good to see him back in the series here. I know he's had some various kind of issues over the past couple months that have taken a lot of time away from the fun of iRacing, but he's driving that crafting for the Cure car. Really familiar livery for me here in the series. Second season of broadcasting, but really easy to spot that one. This orange crafting for a Cure.ca, a really good cause on that livery. Oh, he goes into the grass a little bit, but yeah, let's head back to Hill and see what he's doing out here. This will be his first hot lap going here. Oh, he looked like he hit those bumps not quite how he wanted to, and actually he has some damage on the front of that car. Yeah, that not gonna do it. Although he stays out there. And Fikachi behind him also, it looks like quite a few drivers have been mowing the grass back there. So, here's a look at Hendrick here, familiar in the series as well. And he is 4/10 back on that second spot of Hill. Darren Treakle's been on the top 3 starting positions. It seems like in every race this season, but he's there in 4th. Rafa Torres here, looks like he's pulling it off. He's in 5th. Winner last 2 races at Road Atlanta and was it Road Atlanta last week? No, it was not. But anyway, Scott Kim, our admin here, he's actually putting in a strong performance here as well. So it looks like Dean Thuline has knocked Sten out of that 8th spot, and Sten is back to 9th. Bobby Blankenship in 10th. Colin Kortanek is currently in 11th, so I'd expect him to get a little bit higher on this scoring pylon as this progresses. He's usually nearer to the front. Maybe he's a better racer than he is qualifier here at Sebring. Yeah, hey everybody out there tonight. Thanks for joining us. Got some. Our race last week had kind of the best viewership we've had in this series, and so it's good to see each week that we're having better viewership, and we look forward to getting that going next week as well for our final race at Laguna Seca. So yes, Road Atlanta is what we ran last week, and the week before that was Road America. So the road tracks, the ones with road in the title, are over with for the season. Minute and a half left in qualifying. We'll see what Hill can do. He's still running around with his damage on his car. That could be an artifact that isn't actually there, or he doesn't realize it's there. We'll see what happens here. I think I can give the commentator curse just about everybody out there, though. Two cars in the pit lane. So I'm expecting there to be quite a bit of contact in this race, quite possibly. This Sebring track is really, it's kind of known for a lot of beating and banging of the cars, and the track is, you know, with all these bumps, old airport runway where these heavy planes were landing here, so the bumps on the track cause a lot of issues. But that's what gives a track character. So we'll see what Hill can do here without the front of his car here. Apparently doesn't need that. Maybe it helps. As we're about to count down, looks like Hill's gonna have one more lap. That last lap was not quick enough. So I think Ficacci's going to be on the pole here. Let's see what he's doing out here. He's decided to park it. Treakle, Treakle's in the pits. Hendrick's out here. Peter Lanek still running. He's that was the back straightaway. He's coming to the final corner. Let's see if he can get a good run out of this one. We're gonna have about 2 minutes left where we let everybody finish up what they're doing out here. Peter goes across, not any faster on that lap. We'll watch Sten here and see what he can do. And he goes off, so commentator curse there. So who else is out here? Most everybody's done. John Wood is still out here. Looks like might be going a little slow. Hendrick is going to call it a day there. Looks like John Wood is the only... Okay, Benson's out there. John Wood is going to finish off his run here, see if he can go any faster. Yeah, I would assume. But his laps, talking about Hill, there was a question about that front bodywork. But he actually wasn't going any faster, so maybe he did have that damage and he just didn't know it. Okay, looks like we are done with this. We still have a minute left in qualifying, but I'm just going to go through the grid here and go through this. So Steve Ficacci is going to be our pole sitter. So new name at the front of the board here, followed by Christopher Hill in P2, Hendrik Desort in P3, Darren Treakle in P4, Rafa Torres in P5, Peter Lanek in P6. Heading on to the next row, Brian Kennedy in P7. Good qualifying there for Brian. Scott Kim in P8. Dean Thuline in P9. Sten Cellier in P10. Bobby Blankenship in P11. Colin Kortanek in P12. Yakov Bielik, his big return here in the series. He is P13. Brian Hare in P14. Peter Yerxa in P15. John Wood, P16, Matthew Stover, P17, Stephen Tenney, P18, and then rounding out the field is going to be Tim Bradford, Robert Benson, and Donald Manning. I'll quickly show speeds here. So that was a 111 mile average there for Steve Ficacci. So I think we're going to have a full pace lap here, it appears. No short pace lap. So sit back and relax while we go through this. I think anyway. Yeah. And we've got the Chevy Silverado pace truck. We haven't seen that out here much. It's usually the Porsche. Maybe they decided to finally change it after seeing that. This is like BMW series. I don't want to see the Porsche pacing them as much. I don't know if they want a Chevy Silverado pacing them either, though. Let's head on up to the blimp here. get a good view of all these cars as they grid. We're waiting for a couple cars. Henry's blinking his lights down there. But I guess this is a good time to... Actually, I think, okay, a good time to talk about our sponsors once again here. So, Beltway Brewing Company, thirsty for an award-winning local craft beer. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV. Try their lineup of handcrafted IPAs, lager, sour, stouts, and even seltzer, and you can order directly from their website, beltwaybrewco.com. for contact-free delivery right to your door, or you can head on over to their Sterling tap room and pick it up right there. And then we also have Treakle Insurance, big sponsor in the series. So Treakle Insurance is an independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance. They teamed up with this Hagerty Insurance here to provide collector car coverage as well as race day and track day coverage. So if you're into running track days, you want to get your car insured, especially if you're over on the East Coast near Virginia. You're running Summit Point or VIR or anything like that. Although Summit Point's in West Virginia, so I don't know if well, they probably do. So we're gonna have a long pace lap here. Looking good up here in the blimp. Let's head on over to the chopper. See what we have. So we're about to have a 30-minute race. The estimate is it's only going to be about 16 laps. These are really long laps, so that sounds about right. About 2-minute laps, 30 minutes, 15 to 16 laps. I think the blimp camera was a little bit better here. Unfortunately, there is no 87 Accord here in iRacing. The options are this Chevy pickup truck, either a Ford Mustang or a Camaro. I can't quite remember. I think it's a Mustang, or the Porsche. So those are the choices, and I guess our admin here, Scott Kim, decided to go with that Chevy Silverado this week. On board with our pole sitter here. Just going through the interior of the track here, waiting for, this is a long pace lap. Some of the tracks have a short pace lap, but this one is not one of them. But we're about, I'd say a minute, maybe a little bit less than a minute. Got a couple, or one long straightaway to do. They're coming through the Lamar corner up ahead. Turn 16. And then they've got one more to go after this. So we've had a lot of contact on first corners in the previous weeks. There's been a little bit of discussion about that. We'll see what the drivers sorted out. There was contact between Treakle and Hill kind of a couple weeks, and other drivers taking advantage of that. So we'll see how our front of the field handles this, and it's going to be interesting to see how Hill handles starting from that P2 spot. He's usually starting from the first spot. He seems like he thinks he's starting from the first spot right now because he's ahead of Pikachu here. That Silverado's pace car is going to duck in to the pits, and we are going to go green. Let's see how we make it through here. Up to the blimp, no contact so far. Oh boy, some really close racing there. So far so good, I think, for everybody out here. Hill slotted back to that P2 spot, followed by Hendrick. Fikachi's at the lead. Rafa made up a position on Darren there. Well, one car diving to the inside back there as Rafa there gets a little bit too hot. A little bit of contact between Rafa and Peter Lanik. And Peter's reversing back onto the track. Sten Sellier is moved up from 10th to 7th. He's got Rafa there hot on his tail. Colin Kortanek moved up a couple positions to 12th. Hendrick is off. Coming back to the course here. Starting to get some action here. Heading back up to the front, Christopher Hill pursuing Steve Fikachi. Right on his rear bumper through the Le Mans corner. Onto this straightaway. This is the, if I can get my name correctly, Ullman Straight. One of the good passing points. We got several good passing points here. This one, okay, Hill is looking to get a good exit out of this corner. We'll see if, now they're going to finish that first lap. Fikachi's going to lead. Hill is right there on that bumper. Darren Treakle's moved up to the 3rd spot. Scott Kim is in 5th. And looking through the field, Scott Kim is about a half second back on Brian Kennedy there. Looking also Kortanek. Okay, Kortanek makes contact with Sten. Sten keeps it going here. Other cars avoiding him as he comes back on the track. Oh, and he loops it on, coming back onto the track. Waits for the rest of the cars to get on by. The grass is really, really icy. Basically is the only way I can describe it. So Sten is back to 20th position. Dean Thulein is in the pit lane. Well, it said he was out, but no, he's back on track. Back up to the front, really close. Between Christopher Hill and Fikachi at the front. Really wide on that corner, but you can go wide on those curbs, so they're pretty flat, no issues there. Hill's going to look inside into turn 17 here. This is the Sunset Bend. Side by side they go. Oh boy, they were really sliding through that corner. Still side by side they go. And they are, they sort themselves out now. Hill's going to look inside of Fikachi there. Well, I think we got, meanwhile, Darren is kind of, because of this battle, he's catching up a little bit. But I think we got our sponsors there covered there for the night. Hill appears to be, yeah, so Hill had last lap, he has set 0.3 of a second faster, so he does seem to be faster here than the leader of Fikachi. Hill has a lot of experience in these cars. I don't know what Fikachi's experience is in these cars. We'll have to talk to him about that. If we can get up on the podium, get a good talking to him. Scott Kim still running in 5th, but lost several seconds from the 8 seconds back from the leader. Looking if there are any other battle. Colin Kortanek is trying to get around Bobby Blankenship up there as well. Looks like Hill is right there for the lead, though, on Fikachi. These guys are giving us a really good race here up at the front. Hill's gonna... Is he gonna look low? No, he did not. He stayed. Maybe he'll try to get a better exit than Fikachi. You can see, though, there's a lot of bumps in that corner. And you can see the car is wrestling for grip and bouncing up and down in the air, basically. So, looking back through the field... Okay, Rafa is back in 6th position. Kind of running on his own because he had that little bit of an off there early on. Sten Cellier is back running on the track. He's currently in 20th, but we'll see if the race can come to him. About 5 seconds ahead is Robert Benson. Dean Thuline back in 21st, so he had an issue on that first lap because he started 9th. He's back to 21st, so tough break for him. Hendrick also had an issue where he started 3rd. He's back to 11th. We know he got into the grass, but really good run also then for Scott Kim. He's kind of running around on his own right now. He's got a 2-second gap, 1.5 second. That's coming down quick, it looks like, to Rafa there behind him. But he's got 2 seconds ahead of him to Brian Kennedy. Oh, and Kennedy is off. Kim's gonna make up some ground on Kennedy there. Quickly going to cut back up to the front. Hill is right on the bumper of Fikachi there. And Darren Treakle back there in P3 is also moving up about second back now. It was up to about 2 seconds at one point in time. Let's go on board with Chris here, Hill. See what it looks like for him. Just take us around here and see what happens. So the runway is really bumpy. Then there's kind of some like airport access lanes here that aren't as bumpy as the airport part of the track is. And I'm looking through if there's any other really tight battles as well. Just I don't want to miss anything for you guys out there. That was through turn 7, the hairpin. So one of the drivers was explaining to me that really there's not that much slipstream on these cars. So that whole draft or slipstream just... it's probably there a little bit, but not there that great. So really tough to make passes in these cars. So Kim is... okay, Kennedy just had an off, and Torres got around Kim for 5th. So I want to stay on board. This is through the Le Mans corner, turn 16. And I want to stay on board for the bumps up ahead. This would be turn 17 and the Sunset Bend. And just keep an eye on the bumps. You'll see the car shake up and down through this corner. Just a car fighting for grip through that corner. So that was a lap there. Race speed with Hill. Let's see what else we can have a look at here. Hendrick has caught up to Colin Kortanek in the 9th position. And then he's got John Wood ahead of them in the 8th position. So this is a really tight battle between 3 cars here. I think Hendrick's going to make a move, maybe inside into turn 1. Inside? No, he thinks a little bit better of it. He'll wait on making that move too. Oh, we got a car off up ahead. That is Kennedy, I believe. Yeah, he's and he a little bit of contact, but they keep it going straight between Hendrick and Kennedy. Beating and banging on these cars here. Then Kortanek took it a little wide onto the bumps. This might give Hendrick a good run into the hairpin up ahead. Hendrick goes inside into the hairpin. And looks like he's going to make that pass stick. Gets ahead. Now Kennedy's looking to take advantage on Kortanek here. Oh, and actually, Hendrick has not made that pass happen. And then Kortanek came back, but then goes off in the corner. No contact there, though, through the grass. Battle at the front is getting closer every lap. Treakle is less than a second back from Hill up there now. So Hendrick sets his sights on John Wood ahead. That's Peter Yerksa's coming up on this battle as well. Kind of like this camera angle through that final corner there. Really good camera angle. So Yerksa moves into 10th. He's up from 15th. That is a points paying position. Top 10 paid points here. Oh, we had somebody. That might have just been somebody brushing the inside wall there on that corner and had a little bit of contact. Yakov Bielik is working on Lanik up. Oh, and Bielik, so that is commentator's curse right there. As soon as I went and had a look at him, he locks it up into turn 2 under heavy braking. So that's going to give a position to a couple drivers, including Sten Sellier has moved up. He was back to 20th at one point. He's up to 17th now. He's got Stephen Tenney up ahead. Had that unfortunate mistake early in the race. Go on board here with Sten and the Beltway Brewing Company car. Whoa, really early braking there for Stephen Tenney, and Sten nearly ran into the back of him. Kind of caught him off guard. I think Stan either thought, I'm going to run in the back of him, I'm going to pass him, but he luckily had enough brake to not do that, and he's going to continue working on him here. That rear end of Tenney's car does look like it has a little bit of bumper damage on that rear bumper. Oh, we got a car off. That is, that was Bradford. Sten's going to look inside into the final corner here. This is going to be some action here. Oh boy. Side by side they go. We saw this earlier with the leaders. And Sten's going to make that pass stick, at least for the moment. Tenney's going to come back, though. Side by side down the front straightaway. Tenney's going to come back in the inside into turn 1. Oh boy, I thought there was going to be contact there, but Sten holds him off. Now into turn 2 and 3. I think Sten's got that position, so a good move by Sten Sellier there. Heading back on up to the front. You can see this battle at the front is really tight. Darren Treakle has moved up into all that battle. And Hill, always close when they head onto the straightaway here. Looks like Darren lost a little bit of ground. Hill's gonna look inside up ahead. Not quite there, but we'll see how he can power off this corner here. Try to get you guys some better sound here as well. There we go. Good battle up here at the front, though. This is really tight there. So looking back to Sten there, he's moved it up to 14th. He's got about 10 seconds up ahead to Stover. Stover's already going through the corner up here, so a lot of ground to make up. But with that said, I think Sten will be slightly faster than Stover up there, so he might catch up to him by the end of the race. Brian Kennedy is catching up some ground on Hendrick there, really close. Back in P17, Bradford's only about 7/10 back from Bielik. Kennedy's sticking on. So Kennedy is actually faster than Hendrick, at least in their ultimate pace. Sorry, last lap pace. So we'll see how this goes. Dell Technologies car there for Kennedy. Keeping an eye back on the front, this familiar corner. We've been seeing them go through this every time. Hill just can't quite get a pass made. He had a good opportunity several laps ago. Looks like he has a good run here. A little bit too much to ask though, going through that corner side by side. And Treakle's back here. So this battle, is top three are within about a second and a half of one another. Then Rafa Torres all the way back about 14 seconds. And then Scott Kim's holding his own here. Really good run here by Scott in the 5th position. And Hendrick just had another, he's pitting, okay. They might need to pit here, so that could be an interesting thing that's going on. Yerksa is also in the pits as well, so we'll have to keep our eye on our leaders here if they decide to pit. That might be a strategy if everybody has to pit. Treakle back there in 3rd, he might want to try an undercut or an overcut. That's like where you either pit a lap before or a lap after the leaders and see if he can make up some ground on that particular lap. That last lap for Darren here was actually not the best for him, though. Actually, I just had an update there, and actually it was okay. I thought I was reading 59 when it was everybody else was 56s there at the front. I think Chris has another really good run here, but I don't think there's enough slipstream to make it happen. See what these leaders do as they come across the pit entry. We are about halfway through this thing. Not sure if everybody has to pit or not. Hendrick is back on track after pitting. So Bielik is up to 14th after that spin. Put him back quite a bit, but he's caught up to Tenny here. Scott Kim in the pit lane. I think everybody's going to be pitting here. So Scott Kim pits from P4. Brian Kennedy also on pit lane. So we'll keep an eye on these leaders here. about a half second now between first and second. That's actually a larger gap than has been for most of the race here. Good question. Who has made up the biggest? I'd say Stover started 17th. He's in 6th. That's a really good run for Stover. But we're heading through pit stops, so things are going to cycle here. After everybody pits, we'll see where everybody ends up. So Scott here is out of the pits. He only lost a couple spots. He's back in 5th. See, I have to imagine if everybody's pitting that, probably the leaders are going to pit possibly this lap or the next one after. And Fikachi, our leader, heads to the pit lane. So does Treakle. Hill's going to try the overcut and see if he can make up ground on his own. Maybe he's faster. That last lap for him was a fast one. They're pretty even pair between Hill and Fikachi. So just a little bit of fuel in these cars. Really long pit stop there for Fikachi though. A longer pit stop for Treakle though. 10 seconds for Treakle. We'll just have to see how Hill, when he's probably going to pit this one, so he's trying to do the overcut. Dean through lines moved up to 13. So Dean pit really early in this race, as did Bobby Blankenship. So they might have done another strategy where they decided to pit early, unless Bobby's coming back into the pits, it appears. Another car in the pits ahead. That might be Tenny. Yeah, I think it's Tenny. But let's have a look at Hill. We're going to see how he does on the pit lane and how he comes out in respect to Fikachi there. Fikachi he stayed in P2 when he pit, so... Thanks again to everybody out there watching. A lot of good chat interaction. It's always good talking to you guys in the chat and seeing who you're rooting for. A lot of Sten Cellular fans out there, so that's really good. So we try to get a look. So Sten's actually has made it up to 12th, and he has pit. Everybody's pit other than Hill. Hill's coming in the pits now, so... everybody should be good to go. You know, there's not going to be any mix-up in the field by somebody that's still out there that hasn't pit. Scott Kim has made it up to 4th, so really good run by Kim. I'm going to have to interview him if he stays in that spot. Really good run by him. So we're going to be watching Fikachi here and where Hill comes out. So Hill had a quicker pit stop here. We're watching. Okay, Hill just comes out right behind Fikachi, so Fikachi maintained that lead through the cycle of pit stops. Hendrick has moved up to 6th position, so he's made some good strategy calls in this race after having that off, and he's made it back up to 6th. He's only about a half second off of Rafa in the 5th position there. So Sten back here in 12th is about 9 seconds back from Brian Kennedy in the 11th position, so a lot of ground for Sten to make up there. But a good recovery by Sten, because he was back to 20th at one point in time, as we remember. Rafa here and Hendrick are battling. Oh, and Hendrick locks up the rear tires coming into the hairpin. Tries to get it straight. You can see the grass is really slick. But we were asking about who's made up the most positions so far. Brian Hare is up to 7th from 14th. Yerxa is up to 8th from 15th. So really kind of even on a lot of these positions. 16th and 9th for John Wood. Peter had lost a couple spots. And from there, so I think... And obviously Kim's up 4 positions. He's under pressure from Rafa here. Back to Darren Treakle. He's lost some ground there at the front. He's back about 4 seconds from Hill. As Scott is defending there from Rafa. See how long he can handle this. Kim is a little bit slower on his ultimate pace, but he's been consistent. He made it through the first few laps, and that's what really counts. That last lap was pretty even between the two drivers. Kim guards that inside line from Rafa. I think this is the closest battle on the track, other than I think Bielik just went around Manning. Yes, he did. Rafa looking inside into the hairpin. Not quite there. Scott's under a lot of pressure from Rafa here. Rafa's side by side. Looks like he's gonna make that pass work, and Rafa's gonna move into that 4th spot. But still, really good run here by Scott Kim. He's got about 5 seconds safety net over P3, or sorry, P6 of Hendrick. And that battle at the front, it was up to a second between Hill and Focacci, but Hill's got it back down to, well, it's actually up to second again, so that battle has kind of gone away after the pit stops. Dean Thuline's about a half second off of Bobby Blankenship up there. Looks like we've got about 2 laps to go. We just hit the 2 minutes to go in the race. So about 2-minute laps. They're going to take us to the finish, and then 1 more lap after that. So that'll be 2 laps. This is Dean Thuline back here in 16th, trying to get around Bobby Blankenship for the 15th spot. Closest battle on the track is this one. Another close one back is Stover on Tenney. This is for 18th. For 17th is Tenney. Stover is in 18th. That's Bradford there in 19th. So a 3-way battle for 17th position back here. I think we might have some fireworks in the corner coming up. We'll see what they can do. Stover tries to take a little bit different angle than Tenney through the final corner. Tries to switch, do a over-under kind of thing there, and see if he can get a better run onto the front straightaway. Stover's going to be looking inside into turn 2 and 3. Not quite there, though. Bradford also looking. Oh! Okay, Stover, I thought he was going to put some bumper into Tenney there. But he holds him off. Looking back up to the front, this battle's just been really consistent throughout, but final lap there. So that they went across the start finish line. That was the white flag. The clock expires. So final lap. This is where everybody's going to get it made. Brian Kennedy is about 7/10 of a second from Peter Lanik in P8. Do we have, let me see here. Hendrick had another issue and he's back in the pits. He was up to 6th, so no longer an issue for Scott up here. Oh, and Scott gets around Rafa there. Rafa had an off there, and Scott Kim is going to go into the 4th spot. Our admin of the series up to 4th, so really, really good run by Scott. Heading back up to the front of the field, just want to watch the leaders here, see if anything happens on this final lap. This is going to be through the turn 15 and through turn 16 for the final time here. Ficacci gets a little bit of curb there, a little bit more than he might have liked. Hill's going to try to, this is his final lunge that he can do. We'll see what happens. 3/10 of a second between the two drivers. Hill's going to try a different line maybe than Ficacci, but I think Ficacci's got this one. Second race in the series. Ficacci's going to take victory here at Sebring International. Hill's going to finish up 2nd, and Treakle's going to finish up 3rd. Quite a bit far back for Scott Kim here. And the 4th spot is showing him 3rd on the screen, but that is incorrect. Treakle's going to finish 3rd. So, not sure why it's showing that. So our admin comes across the line. We'll see if they do the classic pile up there. So Ficacci is Club New Jersey. There's Scott Kim, comes across the line in the 4th position. And no pileups there today. Cellier has made it up to, actually he's, is this correct? The timing and scoring is a little odd at the end here. I'm showing him in 10th, but I'm pretty sure he's 11th, so let's see where he comes across here. Okay, no, he's in 12th, so I don't know why it was showing me wrong positions there right at the end. We'll get us all sorted though, but 1, 2, 3, there we go. That's what we were looking for. Let's be right back, and we'll get some interviews going. I'm gonna bring up Scott here when I can though, so be right back. All right, so we are back. Let's see who is hanging out in the booth. I'll see if I can get Scott up here. Hey, Scott. This is Matt up here in the booth. You had a great run today, so I had to get an interview with you.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, wow. Tell me about your race, but I know you didn't have any first lap issues today, so that helped.
You know, that was a huge. I mean, I qualified really well. I did some practice. I changed, little things here and there, and just changed my driving style a little bit. Was playing around with the brake bias this week, but yeah, I just felt pretty good coming in, and I had a pretty bad incident last time we were here, and so I just kind of had that chip on my shoulder, I guess, and but yeah, and I just kept it clean and just really focused on the driving, and a couple people went off in front of me, but other than that, yeah, it was a wow. I just got to keep this up, and yeah, It was good.
Yeah, really good run, and like you said, really good qualifying this week. So I was keeping an eye on you because of that, and you did not disappoint. And I saw like Rafa got by you at one point, but then it looked like he had an off. But you got back around him.
Yeah. He did. He got by me a couple times, and I kind of gave him some room and make sure that I don't touch it. We don't hit each other. But then I think he just went off at the turn one toward the end because tires were just getting trashed toward the end, so we didn't have a lot of grip. But yeah, it was wow.
Well,
it was something.
Next week we're heading to what is it, Laguna Seca, right?
Laguna Seca. Another favorite track of mine, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the turn one is going to be really interesting. That hairpin, and then of course the corkscrew, of course.
Corkscrew.
So, both of those are going to be action zones for that track. So, really good run this week. But we'll hope to see you back here next week.
Right.
And
so too.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Okay.
All right, we'll bring up our winner here. Hey, Steve. This is Matt up here in the booth. Do I have a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, congratulations. This is, I think, your second race in the league here, and you got your first win, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a rough go first lap last race. I think I had decent pace. Those guys were fast. I had nothing for them, but just a disappointing way to start the season there, or for me anyway. But yeah, this race came together well.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't know too much. Like, do you run these cars usually, or do you come from other series, or what's your background? Because I know you have 4,000 iRating, so you're pretty good.
I kind of bounce around. I don't really have anything I run too frequently. Right now I run a MX-5 league. That's kind of something I like to do. Most of my iRating came from when I ran Skip Barber cars.
Okay.
Yeah, I typically don't run faster cars, and this is faster for me. So, but yeah, we're coming around. Probably the baseline setup helps me just because I am so unfamiliar with the cars, just learning and everything. But yeah, no, it's fun.
Well, Chris Hill has won a bunch of the races, and so it's good to have some good competition at the front of this field, and I'm sure he appreciates it too, just having somebody else to race with in addition to the other top drivers in this series. But hey, any shout outs you want to give, any sponsors you might have? I see your name on the side of the car there. So
yeah, we can thank the guys at VRG and Rick's Flex. They're the guys who helped me. Darren Treakle invited me over here, so I guess Treakle Insurance deserves a shout out.
Very cool. Well, next week we're at Laguna Seca. I would assume you're very familiar with that track if you drive that track all the time if you're a regular in iRacing. So
well, that's just it. I haven't really run officials in probably 2 years. I just run whatever shows up in the leagues and kind of thing. But yeah, no, definitely familiar with Laguna Seca.
Yeah. Well, that hairpin and the corkscrew is going to be pretty interesting. So, well, we'll see if everybody keeps it clean, though.
Yeah, sure will. There'll be some excitement.
All right. You take care of yourself, Steve.
Thank you.
Good seeing you in Victory Lane this week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep. All right, we'll bring up Christopher here. So, hey, Chris, this is Matt up here in the booth. Do I have a copy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, there we are. You had some competition this week up there at the front of the pack.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Steve threw down, and it was that was a heck of a fun race.
It looks like you had the fastest lap, but really hard to pass in these cars. I think you or somebody else, maybe Darren, was explaining that it's really hard to get a slipstream in this car, so like it doesn't really help you like it might help you in other cars. So I knew you were trying to get by Steve up there, but you got side by side with him.
I mean, I had a couple runs there early on, and I realized that our pace was going to be pretty similar. So if I got ahead of him, I'd just be holding him off the whole race. So I figured I'd try to save some fuel a little bit. So I was doing some lift and coast and seeing if I could save enough that maybe I'd get a shorter pit stop, and I thought it was all working well until I came out of the pits and realized that I was farther back than I started. So he must have had a heck of an outlap or somehow got a little shorter pit stop. And I was kind of on fumes on the way to the pit stall. So maybe that lost me a little time down pit lane, but either way, it all
your actual
kind of backfired.
Your actual pit stop, according to my data, was 1 second faster, but your pit lane time was the same. So somewhere in there, maybe in the in lap, you lost, because I was explaining in the broadcast that it looked like you were going to do the overcut, and but it didn't quite materialize for you there. So, but yeah, good, good race there. Exciting.
Yeah, it was super fun battle, and I hope Steve shows up for some more battles, because that was that made me sweat, literally. That was fun. So.
Well, hey, any other sponsors, anything like that you want to shout out to? Anybody watching?
No, just if any family's watching or friends, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you for, I guess, the season finale next week. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And I will be here for the spring season as well. It has been confirmed, so that is
awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Okay, well, good run there, Chris, and we'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good.
Yep. Hey, Darren.
Hey, Matt.
You're a regular up here in the booth now. But you started fourth. You kind of hung out in third the whole race, it seemed like. You lost some ground in the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but you did catch up to that battle at the front, but I assume you were just kind of waiting for maybe a mistake or something to happen, and it never did.
Well, both Chris and Steve are fast, super fast, and honestly, our pace was, we were all right on par, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially there in the beginning. I mean, I think I got into the 56s first before those two did, but I wasn't much quicker than them. And then, then our pace really started, everything started kind of matching, except for every once in a while somebody was a little quicker than the other or whatever, but we were all very close. And it really wasn't until the pits is when it fell apart for me.
Yeah, suddenly you were back, you were a second from Chris, or within a second, and then suddenly you were maybe 3 or 4 seconds back from there, and at that point it was just survival, I guess,
I had a couple of not so great laps, and then I did have I dropped a couple of tires. The car just pushed right off, and I can't remember the turn, but it pushed off a little bit. So, but they were at one point. I turned like a couple of mid 57s, and they were like high 56s. I mean, so yeah, they were. Something was going on with me. I don't know what, but
well, this track is it's a tough one. You could see these cars really bouncing in that final corner, and the tires. I brought Scott up for his interview because he got up to fourth in this race, and he said that his tires had gone off by the end of the race. So maybe Steve and Chris up there just able to get those tires at the end of the race a little bit better somehow, some way. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they were both flying. I mean, they just and neither one of them really make mistakes. I mean, and if they do, they're pretty small, So I was just kind of hoping for them to battle it a little bit, battle out, and then I would creep up.
Yep. Well,
I was comfortable.
In that final corner, if they had gotten side by side each lap, you never know. A lot of things can happen in that corner if you're side by side, so you never knew if.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was fun watching. I was just sitting there and watching the whole thing take place, and I was just waiting if they did come together, I was going to be there.
Yep.
But I don't. My pace was pretty much on par with them. It wasn't any quicker. So unless I got a little bit closer to maybe try something on Chris. But I didn't. So
Well, heading to Laguna Seca next week. That hairpin's going to be fun for a turn one corner, and then of course the corkscrew on that first lap also. But I think the hairpin's going to spread you out for the most part anyway, and that hairpin won't be as chaotic as it could be if if you didn't have that hairpin in turn one. But any thoughts going there next week?
Oh man, Laguna. I like Laguna Seca, but it's a tough track. The grip levels are not the greatest. And then turn one is tough. That whole section, turn 1, 2, 2, 3, and then of course the corkscrew is a tough one. I mean, it's a tough track to lay down a really good lap. So, but I just I'll just do my thing and hopefully I'm there in the end.
So. I would also think it's just kind of a track that, since it's a free track on iRacing, and it's also probably like in every racing game out there, that a lot of people have experience on that track. Whereas some of the tracks we go to, maybe it's the first time that week they've ever seen it before. So Laguna's not that way. I think most people have run it before.
Yeah. I mean, but it is kind of known to be a dirty track, so the grip levels aren't, as good as they might be at some other tracks.
True.
Which that can make it challenging.
Definitely. Final shout outs to sponsors, of course, and any shout outs to anybody watching, that kind of thing too.
Yeah, of course. Treakle Insurance Agency, and then Andrew at Hagerty. I'll throw out a couple shout outs to some guys in the real world that helped me with my real race car. Chris Childs at Angry Sheep Motorsports, Carburetor Tech Brakes. Trying to think if there's anyone else. I think those are probably the main ones.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you next week at Laguna, and we'll see if we see you on the podium in the interview in the booth. So
I hope. I'm trying. That's all right. Right now, I'm just happy with the podiums. I mean, there's some fast guys up front. Raphael and Hendrick had a little issue there, and
yeah.
And I was able to capitalize on that, and that kind of made my job a little bit easier, honestly, for third anyway. So yeah, I'm just happy to be on the podium, especially if I'm close to Chris and Chase and Steve and Chris and those guys. So
yeah, I knew Steve was going to be fast when I know he had an issue last week, but when I see a guy, it tells me the I ratings of everybody. And when I see a guy that has 4,000 I rating come into the league, it's like, yep, we got to watch that guy.
yeah, Steve's good. I raced with him in another league, so I invited him over to run with us. So I knew he would be a good addition.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, but have a good one till then, and we'll see you then.
Sounds great. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care. All right. That is it for us here tonight, folks. Just one final shout out to our sponsor here. That is Darren we just talked to. Treakle Insurance, independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance, and they've teamed up with the Hagerty Insurance there on the screen to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. We also have, completely unrelated to that one, Beltway Brewing Company, thirsty for award-winning local craft beer. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV. Looking for our Beltway Brewing Company car on their screen there. You can order directly from their website. Well, before I say that, try their lineup of originally handcrafted IPAs, lager, sour, stouts, and even seltzer. And you can, like I was saying earlier, order directly from their beltwaybrewco.com for contact-free delivery, or pick it up right from their Sterling tap room. So we'll be right here next week for Laguna Seca. So we'll see you guys then, and thanks everybody out there for making the chat interesting once again. We've had about several races in a row where we had awesome chat during the race, so thanks guys.